Phase 1 businesses are gearing up to reopen, but there's an uneasy feeling for businesses in Old Forge. News Channel 2's Kirk Tupai tells us the impact of unpause.
It's known as the mud season in Old Forge, the time between when the winter tourists leave and the spring tourists arrive. A typically slow time for businesses, but now's the time when they start ramping up. Town of Webb Tourism Director Mike Farmer talked about how the business climate here is uncertain and is concerned about how the tourists will impact one of Herkimer County's biggest employers, Enchanted Forest.
Enchanted Forest Water Safari is huge. It's the cornerstone of our tourism economy here, both in the numbers that they draw, that sales tax revenue.
Water Safari Vice President Katie Wodilla says the park is working with other water parks across the country on how they will implement new safety procedures and social distancing policies. They are planning on opening on June 27th, but are faced with more questions than answers on what will be allowed.
The biggest challenge will probably be the different way that we're going to have to run our businesses. And we don't really know what that looks like yet, but you know, focusing on those types of things that are different, that no one's used to, and figuring out what works best and where that sweet spot is.
Restaurants are hoping that sweet spot can be filled at their tables, but Mike Farmer tells me the state needs to set some guidelines so the restaurants can implement a proper business plan.
With new parameters, if restaurants are held to 25% capacity, some of them are trying to figure out how that's going to be economically feasible for them to operate.
Frank Zamilio owns Frankie's Taste of Old Forge. He's more concerned about the safety of his employees and his customers, but says he could roll with whatever changes are needed. He just doesn't want the state to leave him in the dark.
I'm going to open up and wait and see what happens and adjust from there. I could do 20 dinners or I could do 100 dinners. I truly don't know. It's all a mystery right now, but we have to keep plugging. I mean, I can't just give up.
There are many businesses across the state that will struggle with staying open, but it seems the question here in Old Forge is, what is the government going to allow them to do to keep their businesses going? In Old Forge, I'm Kirk Tupai reporting for News Channel 2.